Captain Lee Min-jun sat in his command chair aboard the human exploration ship times Harmony's Edge ***. The bridge was quiet except for the soft hum of the engines. They had been traveling through this empty part of space for 3 weeks, mapping star systems and looking for new planets. "Captain," said Communications Officer Jung Ye-jin, "I'm getting something strange on the long-range sensors." Min-jun turned to look at her screen. "What kind of strange?" "It looks like a distress signal, but it's very weak. The language is nothing I've ever heard before." Jung Ye-jin played the signal through the speakers. The sound that filled the bridge was unlike anything they had heard. It was musical, like crystal bells ringing, but there was pain in it. Even without understanding the words, everyone could hear the desperation. Commander Park So-young, the first officer, frowned at her captain. "Sir, we should be careful. We don't know what's out there. Our mission is to explore and map, not to get involved in alien conflicts." Min-jun stood up and walked to the main screen. The signal was coming from a star system about 2 days away. "Jung Ye-jin, can you clean up that signal? I want to hear it better." "Working on it, Captain." Her fingers moved quickly over her controls. The signal became clearer, and now they could hear multiple voices. All of them sounded scared and sad. Dr. Kim Hae-won, the ship's scientist who studied alien life, came onto the bridge. "Captain, I've been listening to that signal in my lab. The pattern suggests it's not just a distress call, it's a song. A very sad song." "A song?" Park So-young asked. "Why would aliens sing a distress call?" "Maybe singing is how they talk," Dr. Kim said. "Some species on Earth use music to communicate. Whales, birds, even some insects." Min-jun made his decision. "Set course for that system. Maximum speed." "Sir," Park So-young said quietly, "I really think we should contact Earth Command first. If there's a conflict happening, we could be flying into danger." "We'll be careful, Commander, but someone is asking for help, and we're the only ones close enough to answer." 2 days later, the times Harmony's Edge times dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the unknown system. What they saw made everyone on the bridge go silent. The system had 7 planets, but they could only see 3 clearly. The other 4 were surrounded by dark clouds of debris. Huge alien ships moved between the planets like metal sharks. "My God," whispered Engineer Sergeant Choi Sang-min. "Someone's attacking this whole system." The distress signals were much stronger now. They came from the 3rd planet, which glowed with a strange blue light. As they watched, one of the attacking ships fired a beam of energy at the planet's surface. The beam made no explosion, but the blue glow flickered like a candle in the wind. "Captain," Jung Ye-jin said, "I'm getting communications from those attacking ships. They're speaking Galactic Standard." "Put it on, speaker." A harsh voice filled the bridge. "This is Commander Vex Talk of the Hegemony Coalition. Unknown vessel. You will leave this system immediately or be destroyed. We are conducting a lawful resource extraction operation." Min-jun looked at his crew. They all looked back at him, waiting for orders. "Jung Ye-jin, open a channel to that planet. I want to talk to whoever is sending those songs." "Sir, the hegemony just told us to leave," Park So-young warned. "I heard them, Commander." Jung Ye-jin. The communication came through, and suddenly the bridge filled with the most beautiful and sad music they had ever heard. It was like listening to a choir of crystal bells, all singing together in perfect harmony. But the song was full of pain and fear. Dr. Kim Hae-won worked at her console, trying to understand the language. "Captain, I think I can make a basic translator. Give me a few minutes." While she worked, they watched the planet below. The blue glow was getting weaker. Sometimes they could see flashes of light on the surface where the attacking ships were firing their weapons. "Got it," Dr. Kim said. "It's not perfect, but we should be able to understand the basic meaning." She activated the translator, and suddenly the crystal songs became words. "Help us. Please help us." We are dying. Our children cannot sing anymore. Please. Someone. Anyone. We will give you anything. We just want to live. The bridge fell silent. Everyone understood now. Young Yejin, can we send a message to them? Minjun asked. Yes, sir. The translator should work both ways. As we. 3. Minjun took a deep breath. This is Captain Lee Minjun of the human vessel times Harmony's Edge **. We received your call for help. Can you tell us what's happening? The response came quickly, filled with hope and surprise. Humans? We have never heard of humans. Please. You must leave quickly. The hegemony destroys all who try to help us. We do not want you to die for us. Tell us who you are, Minjun said gently. We are the HFY. We have lived on this world for thousands of your years. We are a peaceful people. We sing to the crystals, and they sing back to us. It is how we live, how we love, how we are. But the hegemony wants our crystals for their machines. They say we are in the way. Their weapons. They break our songs. They break us. Dr. Kim Hae-won was studying the sensor readings. Captain, those aren't normal energy weapons. They're using sonic attacks, sound waves designed to shatter crystal structures. If these people are made of crystal-like materials, it would be like using sound to tear apart a person's bones, Minjun finished. Another voice joined the conversation, older and sadder. I am Elder Zefthara. Human captain. We have asked 47 different species for help. All of them said no. They are afraid of the hegemony, we understand. The hegemony is very powerful. They control many worlds. But our children's songs grow weaker every day. Minjun closed his eyes and listened to the background music that came with every transmission. He could hear it now. The voices of children. Their crystal songs barely whispers. Elder Zefthara, we're going to help you. Captain, Park So-young stood up. We have one small science ship. They have a fleet of warships. This is suicide. Minjun turned to face his crew. Maybe it is. But I didn't come to space to map empty systems and avoid hard choices. Someone is calling for help, and we're going to answer. The hegemony ship was approaching fast. Minjun had seconds to decide. Stay and fight an impossible battle, or leave the HFY to die alone. He made his choice. Minjun ordered the ship to move behind the planet's largest moon to hide from the hegemony fleet. The Times Harmony's Edge Times was not built for fighting. It was a science vessel with basic shields and only emergency weapons. Young Yejin, I need a secure channel to Earth Command. Priority Alpha, Minjun said. Establishing connection now, Captain. The main screen flickered, and Admiral Yoon Tae-hyun appeared. He looked tired and serious. Captain Lee, you're supposed to be mapping the outer rim. Why are you requesting a priority channel? Admiral, we've found a species called the HFY under attack by something called the Hegemony Coalition. They're committing genocide. We need military support immediately. Admiral Yoon's face became very serious. Captain, explain the situation quickly. Minjun told him everything. The crystal songs, the sonic weapons, the dying children. As he spoke, he could see the Admiral's expression growing more worried. Captain Lee, I understand this is difficult to watch, but Earth cannot get involved in galactic conflicts. We're still new out here. We don't understand the politics or the power structures. Starting a war with an established coalition could destroy humanity's future in space. Sir, they're killing an entire species. Children are dying. I'm sorry, Captain, but I cannot risk billions of human lives for one unknown alien species. You have your orders. Leave the system immediately and continue your mapping mission. The connection ended. The bridge was completely quiet. Commander Park So-young spoke first. Captain, The Admiral is right. We can't fight a whole fleet. We should follow orders. Minjun sat down heavily in his command chair. Through the view screen, he could see the blue glow of the HFY planet getting weaker. Zheng Yejin. Open a channel to the HFY again. Sir, what are you doing? Park So-young asked. The crystal song filled the bridge again, weaker than before. Dr. Kim Hae-won activated the translator. Elder Zeph Thara, this is Captain Lee. Are you there? Yes, human captain. We felt your ship move away. We understand. You must protect your own people. Thank you for listening to our songs. It has been long since anyone listened. The old alien's voice was so sad that Dr. Kim Hae-won had tears in her eyes. Minjun stood up and faced his crew. Dr. Kim, tell me about their sonic weapon problem. Can we do anything? Dr. Kim Hae-won brought up her analysis on the main screen. The hegemony weapons create sound waves at specific frequencies. They're designed to shatter crystal structures. But Captain, I've been studying the HFY songs. I think their communication isn't just sound. It's quantum harmonic resonance. In simple words, Doctor, they don't just make music. They change reality with their voices. At least on a small scale. Their whole planet is like one giant crystal that vibrates with their songs. The hegemony weapons are breaking that connection. Sergeant Choi Sang-min, who had been studying his engineering readings, looked up. Captain, I might have an idea. What if we could create counter-frequencies? Like noise-canceling headphones, but for weapons? Explain. The hegemony sonic weapons have a pattern. If we could generate the exact opposite sound wave, we might be able to cancel out their effects. We'd need to modify our sensor array and use the ship's power core, but it might work. Park So-young shook her head. Sergeant, even if that works, we still can't fight their warships. They'll destroy us. Dr. Kim Hae-won was reading more data from her scans of the planet. Captain, there's something else. The HFY aren't just dying from the attacks. They're dying from despair. Their crystal song communication is so important to them that when they can't connect with other species, they literally fade away. They need contact with other minds to survive. Contacted. They're Argases Sumar. They're Argases. Minjun walked to the view screen and stared at the distant planet. He could see more hegemony ships arriving. Soon, there would be too many to count. Jung Yejin, send a message to Earth Command. Tell them we're experiencing engine problems and need time for repairs. Sir? Park So-young stepped closer. What are you planning? Minjun turned to face his crew. All of them were looking at him. Jung Yejin at communications. Doctor. Kim Hae-won at the science station. Sergeant Choi at engineering. Chief Medical Officer Dr. Bae Jun-seo. And Commander Park So-young. I'm going to disobey orders. We're going to stay and help the HFY. But I won't order any of you to do this. It's probably suicide. Anyone who wants to leave can take a shuttle back to human space. The bridge was quiet for a long moment. Dr. Bae Jun-seo spoke first. Captain, I became a doctor to save lives. It doesn't matter if those lives are human or alien. Sergeant Choi nodded. I've been working on machines my whole life, but I never built anything that could save an entire species. I'd like to try. 17% I'm right as I'd like to try. Jung Yejin smiled. Someone has to keep everyone talking to each other. That's my job. Dr. Kim Hae-won was already pulling up more data. I want to learn how their crystal songs work. This could be the discovery of a lifetime. Everyone looked at Commander Park So-young. She was quiet for a long time, thinking, Captain, this is against every rule in the book. We could all be court-martialed. Humanity could be blamed if this goes wrong. I know, Commander. But, she continued, I didn't join the space service to follow safe orders. I joined to explore strange new worlds and meet new civilizations. What's the point of meeting them if we just watch them die? Min-jun felt relief flood through him. All right then, Sergeant Choi. Start working on those counter-frequencies. Dr. Kim. I need to know everything about how the HFY communicate. Jung Ye-jin. Monitor hegemony communications. I want to know what they're planning. Rai. And me, Captain? Park So-young asked. Help me figure out how a small science ship can protect an entire planet. As his crew got to work, Min-jun opened a channel to the HFY again. Elder Zefthara, we're not leaving. There was a long pause, then a sound like crystal bells ringing with joy. Captain Lee, why would you do this? You do not even know us. Min-jun thought about how to answer. Elder, in human culture, we have a saying. We judge people not by how they treat their equals, but by how they treat those who cannot help them. The HFY cannot help humanity, but you need help, and we can give it. That makes you our friends. Friends? The old alien repeated, like he was tasting a new word. Well, you have friends now, and humans don't abandon friends. Outside, the hegemony fleet was getting closer. Soon, they would demand answers. Min-jun hoped his crew could work miracles, because that's what they were going to need. 3 hours later, the hegemony fleet found them. Human vessel, came the harsh voice of Commander Vextalk. You were ordered to leave this system. You will depart immediately, or be destroyed with the crystal parasites. Min-jun stood on his bridge, looking at 12 massive warships on his screen. Each one was 10 times bigger than his science vessel. Young Yejin, open a channel to all hegemony ships. Captain, what are you doing? Park So-young whispered. Trusting that doing the right thing matters. Min-jun stepped forward. Commander Vextalk, this is Captain Lee Min-jun of the Human Vessel Times, Harmony's Edge *. We will not abandon the HFY. Humanity does not leave friends to die. Vextalk's laugh was like grinding metal. Friends? You have known these creatures for 1 day. They are obsolete organics standing in the way of progress. We offer you one final chance to leave. We refuse. Then, you will die with them. The lead hegemony ship opened fire. Energy beams shot toward the Times Harmony's Edge *. But Sergeant Choi was ready. The modifications he had made to their shields created a resonance field around the ship. The beams hit the field and scattered like light through a prism. It worked, Choi shouted. The counter-frequency generators are holding. But Min-jun knew it wouldn't last long. Dr. Kim, are you ready? Dr. Kim Hae-won was at her station, connected to both the ship's sensors and a crystal formation the HFY had given them. The quantum harmonic link is established. Captain, but I don't know if this will work. Do it. Dr. Kim activated her experimental system. Suddenly, the Times Harmony's Edge Times began to sing. The ship's modified sensors projected the HFY's crystal songs into space, amplified by human technology. The effect was immediate. The blue glow around the HFY planet grew brighter. On the surface, crystal formations that had been dark began to shine again. Impossible, Vextalk snarled. All ships, focus fire on the human vessel. Destroy it now. 12 warships fired at once. The Times Harmony's Edge Times shook and rolled as energy beams slammed into their shields. Sparks flew from control panels, and the lights flickered. Shields at 30%, Choi reported. Dr. Kim, we need more power to the resonance field. I'm trying, Captain, but the system wasn't designed for this much energy. On the planet below, Elder Zefthara's voice reached them through the crystal link. Captain Lee, you have given us hope. Our young ones are singing again, but you must save yourselves. Do not die for us. Not planning to die today, Elder. Min-jun turned to his crew. Ideas. People. Fast. Park So-young was studying her tactical display. Captain, what if we don't try to fight all of them? What if we make them fight each other? Explain. The hegemony is a coalition of different species. Sergeant Choi's resonance field doesn't just block their weapons. It scrambles their targeting systems. If we could get between their ships, Choi understood immediately. They might hit each other by accident. Captain, it's crazy enough to work. Choi. 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 Do it. The Times Harmony's Edge Times shot forward, diving between the massive hegemony warships. The human vessel was tiny compared to them, like a bird flying between giants. Vex Talk's ships tried to track them, but the resonance field around the human ship confused their sensors. 2 hegemony ships fired at the same time, trying to catch the Times Harmony's Edge Times between them. The human ship rolled away at the last second, and both energy beams hit the opposite hegemony vessel. Yes, Jung Yejin cheered. They're shooting each other. But their victory was short-lived. Vex Talk was smarter than they hoped. All ships, stop firing. Use tractor beams. Capture the human ship. Blue beams reached out from the hegemony vessels, trying to grab the Times Harmony's Edge asterisk. Min Jun felt the ship slow down as the tractor beams caught them. We're trapped, Park So-young said quietly. Suddenly, Dr. Kim Hae-won gasped. Captain! Look at the long-range sensors. New contacts were appearing on their screens. Ships were dropping out of hyperspace at the edge of the system. Not just 1 or 2 ships. Dozens of them. Jung Yejin, are those more hegemony vessels? Minjun asked. Jung Yejin worked frantically at her controls. No, sir. These are... Captain, I'm reading ship designs from at least 20 different species. Some of these designs I've never seen before. The first ship to reach them was sleek and silver, with elegant curves that looked like art. A voice came over the communications channel, speaking in accented galactic standard. This is Captain Thexara of the Mendari vessel, Times Silver Dawn asterisk. Human ship. We heard your message. What message? Minjun asked. The crystal songs of the HFY, amplified by your technology. They reached across space to dozens of worlds. Species that the hegemony has threatened, bullied, or ignored. You showed us something we had forgotten. More ships arrived every minute. The communication channels filled with voices in dozens of languages. This is the Veltari Artship Times Dancing Light asterisk. We stand with the humans and the HFY. Gorvani Dreadnought Times Stonehammer Times reporting. We remember our own dark days under hegemony rule. Free Trader Times Lucky Strike Times here. Nobody deserves what the hegemony does. Commander Vextalk's voice cut through the chatter. This changes nothing. You are all criminals now, interfering with lawful hegemony operations. Captain Thexara's response was calm but firm. Commander Vextalk, my people were enslaved by the hegemony 60 years ago. We were lawfully worked to death in your mining colonies. If young humans can stand up for strangers, then we who suffered can find courage to fight back. The most shocking arrival came next. A ship that was more like a floating crystal palace, beautiful beyond words, dropped out of hyperspace. Min Jun had never seen anything like it. This is Ambassador Lord Kiltheron of the Zephyrian Dominion. We have watched from isolation for 3 centuries, waiting for a sign that the galaxy had learned wisdom. Today we saw humans choose to protect the helpless rather than serve their own interests. Today, we return to galactic society. Vextalk's fleet was now outnumbered 3-1, and more ships kept arriving. But the hegemony commander was too arrogant to retreat. You fools. You think this rabble can stand against hegemony might? All ships. Target the human vessel. If we destroy their ship, this pathetic alliance will scatter like leaves. Every hegemony weapon turned toward the Times Harmony's Edge asterisk. Minjun closed his eyes. There was nowhere to run this time. but the energy beams never reached them. Ship after ship moved between the human vessel and the hegemony fleet. Taking the hits meant for the times, Harmony's Edge **. Aliens who had never met humans were dying to protect them. Why? Minjun whispered. Elder Zephtera's voice came through the crystal link, now strong and clear. Because, Captain Lee, you reminded the galaxy what it means to have honor. You showed them that some things are worth fighting for, even when the odds are impossible. The battle was just beginning. The space around the HFY homeworld became a swirling battlefield. Ships from dozens of species fought together for the first time in galactic history. The elegant Mendari vessels danced between enemy fire, while their weapons painted the darkness with silver light. The massive Gorvani dreadnoughts absorbed punishment that would destroy smaller ships and fired back with weapons that shook space itself. But the most amazing sight was the Veltari artships. These beings could bend reality with their minds. And their ships didn't just fight. They created beauty, even in battle. Enemy missiles became flowers of light, and destroyed ships turned into cascading waterfalls of stars before fading away. Status report, Minjun called out, as the Times Harmony's Edge Times shook from another near miss. Our new friends are doing better than expected. Park, So Young reported. The hegemony is losing ships, but they're still fighting hard. Dr. Kim Hae-won looked up from her crystal communication station. Captain, I'm getting reports from the planet's surface. The HFY crystal formations are growing stronger. Some of their people who were too weak to sing before are joining the chorus again. That's good news, Minjun said. But we're not out of trouble yet. Sergeant Choi was working frantically at his engineering station. Captain, the resonance generators are overheating. We've been using them too hard for too long. I don't know how much longer they'll hold. Before Minjun could answer, Dr. Bae Junseo's voice came from the medical bay. Captain, we have wounded coming in. The Mendari ship Times, Silver Dawn Times, is sending over their injured. They say our medical bay is the closest safe location. Treat everyone, doctor, human or alien, it doesn't matter. What happened next amazed everyone on the ship. As Dr. Bae worked on the wounded Mendari, the HFY crystal formations that Dr. Kim had installed throughout the ship began to sing softly. The sound seemed to help the injured aliens heal faster than should have been possible. Captain, Dr. Kim said excitedly, the HFY are learning to extend their healing songs to other species. This is incredible. But the battle was far from over. Commander Vextalk had regrouped his remaining ships and was preparing for one final assault. His voice cut through all communication channels. Enough of this madness. All ships, prepare to fire on the planet's crystal core. We will shatter their entire world and end this rebellion. Minjun felt ice in his stomach. He's going to destroy the whole planet. On the main screen, they could see the hegemony flagship powering up its main weapon. It was enormous. A cannon that ran the entire length of the massive ship. Energy crackled around it as it charged. How long until it fires? Minjun asked. 2 minutes, maybe less, Choi reported. Captain Thexara's voice came over the communicator. Human Captain, our ships cannot penetrate their flagship's shields in time. Do you have any ideas? Minjun stared at the massive enemy ship. There was only one way to stop it, and everyone on the bridge knew what he was thinking. Captain, no, Park So-young said quietly. There has to be another way. Sergeant Choi, how fast can this ship go? Choi understood immediately. Captain, if I reroute all power from life support and weapons to the engines, we could reach maximum velocity. But the ship wasn't designed for ramming. We'd never survive the impact. Dr. Kim, if we ram their weapon array, would that stop them from firing? Dr. Kim checked her readings. It might work, but... Captain, I know. Minjun looked at his crew. These people had followed him into an impossible situation, and now he was asking them to die with him. Park So-young stepped forward. "Captain, let me take a shuttle. One person can do this job." "No, Commander. This is my decision and my responsibility." Young Yejin spoke up. "Sir, we all made the choice to stay. We all knew it might end like this. We. Dr. Bay's voice came from the medical bay. "Captain, I have 30 wounded aliens down here, who are alive because we chose to help. Whatever happens, it was worth it." Minjun felt proud and sad at the same time. "All right then. Sergeant Choi, give me everything the engines can handle. Jung Yejin, open a channel to all ships." "Channel open, sir." "This is Captain Lee Min-jun of the human vessel times Harmony's Edge **. We're going to ram the hegemony flagship's main weapon. All ships, concentrate your fire on their shields. Make them weak enough for us to get through." Every Allied ship turned their weapons on the hegemony flagship. The massive vessel's shields flared and sparked under the combined assault. "Elder Zepthara," Minjun called through the crystal link, "it's been an honor to meet your people." "Captain Lee," the old HFY replied, "you have given us more than hope. You have given us friends. That is a gift we can never repay." The Times Harmony's Edge times shot forward, accelerating toward the enormous hegemony flagship. As they flew, Minjun could hear something incredible through the ship's speakers. The HFY were singing, not just the ones on the planet, but every HFY crystal formation throughout the ship. Their song was picked up and amplified by every Allied vessel. The sound grew and grew until it filled all of space around the battle. It wasn't just beautiful. It was powerful. The harmony between the different species created something that had never existed before. "Captain," Dr. Kim said in wonder, "the resonance is building beyond anything I've ever measured. It's like the entire fleet is becoming one giant instrument." The hegemony flagship's shields were failing under the combined attack. They were almost in range for ramming when something incredible happened. The crystal song reached such perfect harmony that it created a resonance field around the Times Harmony's Edge **. Instead of destroying the ship on impact, the field began to transform everything it touched. "What's happening?" Choi shouted as lights danced around the ship. "The crystal songs are changing the physical structure of matter itself." Dr. Kim explained in amazement. "This is beyond science. This is like magic." The Times Harmony's Edge times struck the hegemony flagship's weapon array, but instead of exploding, both ships were surrounded by singing light. The massive enemy cannon began to change shape, transforming from a weapon of destruction into something else entirely. "It's beautiful," Jung Yejin whispered. The weapon that was designed to destroy worlds was becoming a communications array, one that could broadcast the HFY's songs of unity across the entire galaxy. Commander Vextalk's voice came over the communicator, but it sounded different now, confused and wondering instead of angry. What is this feeling? I can hear their thoughts, their hopes. How is this possible?" "That," Elder Zepthara said gently, "is what we call the Great Resonance. For the first time, you are truly hearing another living being." The battle was ending, but not with destruction. It was ending with understanding. The Great Resonance changed everything. Commander Vextalk's flagship drifted in space, its weapons now transformed into a massive communications array. Through the crystal songs, Vextalk experienced something he had never felt before: the thoughts and emotions of other living beings. For the first time in his life, he understood what his victims had felt. This is what we have been destroying," Vextalk said over the open channel. His voice was full of shock and shame. "All these years, we thought we were bringing order to the galaxy. But we were just bringing pain. Innovation. We thought we were diverting order." The other hegemony ships stopped fighting. Their crews were also experiencing the great resonance, hearing the crystal songs that connected all living minds. One by one, they powered down their weapons. Elder Zephtara's voice came through the crystal link, gentle and forgiving. Commander Vextalk, understanding is the first step toward healing. We do not seek revenge. We seek only to live in harmony with all beings. Captain Minjun stood on his bridge, amazed that they were all still alive. The Times, Harmony's Edge Times, had survived the ramming somehow, protected by the resonance field. Around them, ships from dozens of species hung in space, no longer fighting but singing together in the crystal harmony. Status report, Minjun said. All systems are working, Captain, Sergeant Choi reported. Better than working, actually. The resonance field seems to have improved our engines somehow. Dr. Kim Hae-won was studying her readings with excitement. Captain, the quantum harmonic patterns are stabilizing. The different species are learning to communicate directly through the crystal songs. This is the first time in galactic history that so many different kinds of life have been able to truly understand each other. 3 months later, Minjun stood on the observation deck of Harmony Station, the first joint construction project of what was now called the Resonance Alliance. The station was built around a massive HFY crystal formation that allowed instant communication between hundreds of worlds. Through the crystal windows, he could see ships from every corner of the galaxy. The elegant Mendari vessels worked alongside the massive Gorvani dreadnoughts. Veltari art ships painted space with beautiful colors while Zephyrian crystal palaces hung like jewels among the stars. It's hard to believe it's only been 3 months, said Commander Park So-young, joining him at the window. She now wore the uniform of the Resonance Alliance, with its symbol of interconnected crystals. Sometimes the galaxy changes quickly when people choose to do the right thing, Minjun replied. They watched as a group of former hegemony ships approached the station. These vessels had been modified with HFY crystal technology, transforming them from weapons of war into ships of healing and exploration. Commander Vextalk now led a fleet that traveled to worlds damaged by the old hegemony, helping them rebuild. Ambassador Lee, came a familiar crystal song voice behind them. Minjun turned to see Elder Zephtara approaching. The old HFY had been appointed as the first speaker for the Alliance, helping different species learn to communicate through the crystal songs. Elder, you know you don't have to call me Ambassador. Captain is fine. The HFY's crystal body sparkled with amusement. But you are an ambassador now, Captain Lee. An ambassador for the idea that beings should help each other rather than hurt each other. Your entire species has become ambassadors for this idea. It was true. After the Battle of HFY, as historians were calling it, humanity had become famous across the galaxy as the species that stood up for the helpless. Human ships were welcomed everywhere, and human ideas about cooperation and mutual aid were spreading to hundreds of worlds. Dr. Kim Hae-won approached them, carrying a datapad full of reports. Ambassador Lee, I have the latest updates from the Interspecies Medical Corps. Dr. Kim now led an organization that combined HFY healing songs with human medical knowledge and alien biotechnology. Diseases that had killed billions over the centuries were being cured through cooperative research. What's the good news, Doctor? Minjun asked. The Centauri plague has been completely eliminated. The combination of Veltari reality shaping, HFY healing songs, and human medical techniques created a cure that works on all known species. And the Gorvani shared a mineral from their homeworld that makes the cure easy to produce. That's wonderful news. Sergeant Choi Sang-min came over to join them. He now ran the Technology Sharing Initiative, where human engineering worked with alien science to solve problems no single species could handle alone. Captain, you need to see this, Choi said excitedly. He showed them a holographic display of a construction project. The Veltari have figured out how to use HFY crystal song technology to grow buildings that actually heal damaged land. We're going to rebuild every world. The hegemony destroyed. Through the window, they could see the most touching sight of all. In the station's central park, children from dozens of species played together. Human kids laughed with young HFY, their voices blending with crystal songs. Mendari youngsters chased Gorvani cubs, while Veltari children painted pictures in the air with their minds. Elder Zeph-Thara, Minjun said, "What do the HFY call this new age?" The old alien's crystal body glowed with warm light. "We call it the time of many songs. Before, we sang alone, and were dying. Now we sing with many voices, and grow stronger, every day." Dr. Bei Jun Seo joined their group, carrying a small HFY crystal. "Captain, Elder Zeph-Thara, this is from the younglings. They wanted to give it to you." Minjun took the crystal gently. It was warm and hummed with soft music. "What does it mean?" he asked. "It means you are family," Elder Zeph-Thara explained. The HFY word for human in our language now translates as those who stand with the forgotten. This crystal will let you hear the songs of any HFY, anywhere in the galaxy. You will never be alone as long as the HFY exist. Minjun felt tears in his eyes. "Thank you, Elder, for all of us." As they watched through the crystal windows, more ships arrived at Harmony Station. Representatives from species that had hidden in fear for centuries were coming to join the alliance. The galaxy was becoming something new, not a collection of separate worlds competing for resources, but a community of different peoples helping each other grow. Jung Yejin's voice came over the station communicators. "Ambassador Li, we're receiving a transmission from Earth. Admiral Yoon wants to congratulate you on the latest alliance treaty." Minjun smiled. Earth had been amazed by what their small exploration ship had accomplished. Instead of court-martial proceedings, Minjun and his crew had been promoted and asked to lead humanity's efforts in the new galactic community. "Tell the Admiral I'll speak with him shortly," Minjun said. He looked around at his friends, his crew who had chosen to stay and fight an impossible battle. Commander Park So-young, who had learned that sometimes the illogical choice was the right choice. Dr. Kim Hae-won, who had discovered that the greatest science was learning how different kinds of life could work together. Sergeant Choi Sang-min, who had built machines that healed instead of harmed. Dr. Bei Jun Seo, who had learned that healing had no species boundaries. "You know what the best part is?" Minjun said to them. "What's that, Captain?" Park So-young asked. "We came out here to explore strange new worlds and meet new civilizations. We wanted to find out who we were among the stars." He held up the crystal gift from the HFY younglings. "We found out that we're the species that doesn't walk away when someone needs help." Through the crystal formations throughout Harmony Station, the songs of hundreds of worlds blended together in perfect harmony. It was the sound of a galaxy learning to sing as one. And at the heart of it all was the simple human idea that some things, like friendship, like protecting the helpless, like standing up for what's right, were worth any sacrifice. The forgotten alien race had found their allies at last. And in saving them, humanity had found its place among the stars.